All right, guys, I want to talk to you about something that everybody's saying to me. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about this. Well, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I'm old and gray-haired, and I'm an appraiser, so I got an opinion, and this is it on tax records and AVMs. All right, I want you to think about this now. We have just bukus, if buku is a word, bukus of automated valuation models. They get fancier and fancier and all these big time logarithms, and we hear about that these new mortgage valuation tools are so complex and they're doing a better job all the time. Well, the bottom line is those, no matter how fancy they are, they still come down to a price per square foot formula. And regardless of it, and I messed it up. All right, let's start this again at 107. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about something that a lot of people don't want me to talk about, but let's talk about the difference between an AVM and a tax value. Now, we've got so many AVMs coming at us in every direction, and everybody wants to have the latest and greatest, and they want to make their millions of dollars with the new AVM. But an AVM, no matter how fancy it is, the majority of the time when you take all the covers back or the curtains, it's got a price per square foot formula in it. No matter how fancy they are, no matter how many bells and whistles, it's still, it's a price per square foot formula in a really fancy package. Now, if you take, let's talk about what are tax records. Well, I talk a lot about the square footage in tax records being wrong. But, give the tax appraiser some credit here. They do a really good job for what they do. The values that they are, some counties and states want the information different, but overall they come up with some pretty darn good values depending on where you live. But do a test for yourself. Take 10 sales, pull up a few AVMs, especially if you've done the appraisal before or you've seen it sell in MLS and you've got enough data to compare the MLS sale, the appraised value, several AVMs, and the tax value. If you took a list of 1,000 homes and compared 5 AVMs to the tax value, I'm betting that tax value is pretty darn close. You're going to have a margin of error with automated valuations. It's just a fact of life. So if we're going to have a margin of error, instead of paying all these money or all this big money for somebody with an automated valuation model, why the heck don't we just use the assessed value in tax records? Well, that blew several people's mind, and a lot of people are looking at me going, no, I'm going to make a fortune, and big banking is thinking that these AVMs, it's just gravy, and if you look at closing statements lately, you'll see a traditional appraisal. Well, you will also see a technology fee or something similar to that. They got 100 different names for that, just like there is for finished square footage. But it is a profit-making machine. And this is driven by the golden rule, The big banks have the money and they're trying to make the rules and want everybody to get in their mind that AVMs are good, AVMs are good. Well, they're really not any better than tax records. And guess what? Tax records are free. How much money could we save if all banks had two choices? They could either get a traditional appraisal or they could lend a certain percentage based on the assessed value of that house. Think about that a little bit now. That would change the banking world overnight, and all the people rushing to put appraisers back, and drive us out of business for the most part, or for a lot of it, if they had to rely on an appraisal or a tax assessment, what would happen to the reform in the appraisal industry? Anyway, a little food for thought. Think about that.